And welcome back. And we're moving into our second segment for today as we commemorate World Red Cross Day. Representing the Belize Red Cross, we have the Director General for Belize Red Cross, Lily Bowman. And we have Fred Hunter, who is the focal point for disaster management and also a field coordinator. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here.
And happy World Red Cross Day to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it is obviously a day for reflection globally on the role that this organization has played. Let's just talk about one of the things we don't always discuss is what motivates you to contribute to the organization? I know, Lily, you made a transition from private sector into NGO. Yeah. And Fred, you have always been at Red Cross as far as I can remember. But what keeps you motivated to stay with this organization and do this work?
The need. Mm-hmm. The need. To know that people out there need you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that puts you in a very good place, that to know that you can do something for somebody else. Good morning, Belize. I am happy to know that people need me.
Yeah.
Not only my family, my friends, but people that I don't even know. But when we are out in the field or when we are discussing with partners, stakeholders, donors, we are meeting needs. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's a big motivation. And to tell you the truth, the day I started working at the Red Cross, there was a soup kitchen program going on. Mm-hmm. And I came there with a whole lot of baggage of my own. I was in the lowest part of my life at the time. Mm-hmm. And I stood there watching the recipients mm-hmm. of the soup kitchen. And there was a man walking up the stairs. At that time, the soup kitchen was upstairs. Walking up the stairs with 1 foot. And I said, wow, he must really need that soup. Mm-hmm. I think that is when I was sold for the Red Cross, to the Red Cross. Mm-hmm. I forgot what I was going through. And I say to this day, Red Cross saved my life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So that in itself motivates me.
I want to go back a bit because there are a lot of people who don't know what the Red
yes.
Cross is about, where it came from. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was doing a bit of research last night, 130 odd years.
Over 150 years.
Yeah, globally.
The movement exists, yeah.
So could you talk to us about its history, where it came from, what it's about?
Okay.
Well,
you want to do the history?
Well, today is the birthday of Henri Dunant. He's the founder of the Red Cross, and actually the whole Geneva Convention movement, everything came out of it. But he was a Swiss merchant, businessman.
That's why the Red Cross, the Swiss.
Well, it's the inversion of the Swiss
flag. Swiss flag. The Swiss flag is white on a red background, and the red on the white background is the Red Cross International. Wow. Yeah. And he was a Solferino passing through Solferino, Italy. And the Austrian and French armies were fighting, and then all these wounded soldiers dying on the field, and his compassionate nature came out. He went into the town, and it was mostly women that were available. And there was an old church, so they went in, they went to the field, and they started to tend to the wounded, both sides. They weren't discriminating, and that's the foundation of the Red Cross.
To help people in
anybody that needs.
That's how volunteerism was born.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What is it? All those in need, innocent or not.
The most needed. Yeah, but the main thing is that the work the Red Cross does throughout the world is done without discrimination. Yeah. It's an impartial service that we give everywhere. And we're guided by our 7 fundamental principles, which are humanity, impartiality, independence, unity, universality, voluntary service, and one I'm missing, neutrality.
If our government went by those 7 principles, good gosh.
we would all live in a good world.
Not just the government.
Not just the
It's
government,
people.
Yeah.
everybody.
Governments are just a reflection of the people.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And you know, when we go into our communities, we always take those principles with us. As a matter of fact, we are very, very proud to say that we can reach some of the hardest communities. Sometimes maybe the government can't even reach them, but with our principles, we could get in.
Yeah.
And we have seen things happen with our communities. We have gone into communities that were divided by family feuds or, you know, any old beef or religion and even politics. And when we get out of that, or before we even get midway, we have both parties under the same tent, under the same roof, working together.
Same.
Working together
Looking in the same direction.
because of our principles.
So talk about some of the work that you guys have been doing over the years. I know that when hurricane kicks in, I can look through that window and I'm sure that I'm going to see that Red Cross going out there. But some of the work that you do outside of the hurricane season.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we do outside. We have, I know that everybody, or most everybody, think of us during disaster time, and that's just the sadness of it, because we want to be seen for the work that we do all year round.
Yeah.
When there's no disaster, we are preparing our communities. We are working with communities to build their capacity so that they can help themselves. They can be their first responders. Like our president's message said, you know, we are actually working ourselves out of a job. We are strengthening communities to be able to help themselves, so that when there's a disaster or any emergency or crisis, they can attend to their needs before, you know, the professionals come in, or the NEMO comes in, or any other international organization or local organization comes in to help. So we do that. We also work with youth, especially at-risk youth or youth in conflict with the law. We provide them with training in conflict management.
Wow.
We've been working with the Ministry of Education's Youth Apprenticeship Program for a few years now. We train, first of all, we give them the skill of first aid and CPR. We teach them that. Then we work with them in conflict management, where they can learn to manage their own conflict and that of others by identifying when an argument will escalate or can escalate into a conflict. You know, we teach them how to communicate, how to, the different forms of communication, how to recognize who will be your shield and who can be your bomb, and, you know, so that you can avoid situations.
Yeah.
And we also train, what? Yeah, we focus on the giraffe language against the wolf language, and that's fun because you'd be surprised to know which one you are, right? Most of the time. Well, the wolf is a brazen animal that attacks and doesn't think before it acts. A giraffe, because of its long, like, is very graceful and views before.
The bigger picture before.
Yes, sees the bigger picture. So we use that analogy for teaching these, and they like it.
We versus me.
Yeah. Our home caregivers course, you hear about that every year. We bring out an average of 100. We put out an average of 100 new trained certified home caregivers.
Yeah.
I think we just don't talk about it a lot on the
Well,
media, but it's going on every year.
We've had the pleasure of being exposed to quite a bit of the work, and you still stay true to your foundation, which is your first aid CPR.
That's our
You
core.
still have quite a number of volunteers who come in and work doing the work in the kitchen. You still have the kitchen.
Yes.
Offering to assistance to people during emergencies beyond hurricanes.
Fires,
You really
for
came out immediately in response to the Majestic Alley fire, coordinating with Belize City Council. There's just a wide array of work that the Red Cross in Belize does. And you still go out into rural communities, which is very important.
We're working in 26 right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. We've done 59 before, from Corozal to Toledo. What we call community disaster response teams.
We've trained them.
That we
formed and
train
trained.
them how to prepare for disasters, how to respond, how to communicate, how to organize, evacuation, shelters, make sure they have their food and water enough food and water to last them at least till help comes in. Sometimes that could be a
But
lot.
we don't only train, we equip them. So when we leave them, they also have their equipment to work. And these, what we call CDRTs, Community Disaster Response Teams, strengthen the national response system. So they really work with NEMO. And they are trained together with NEMO. They help us train them.
And that's a part of the evolution of the organization as well, really becoming a partner with government in response. Because I know a while back there used to be a lot of duplication, one house get a sack of goods from Red Cross and then they get one from Human Development, and you never really know what's happening. But now there's great cohesion between the different entities that come together after an emergency. How important was that step?
Well, there is improvement in that area, but there's still a longer way that we are to go. We have to start looking at standardizing our tools. And that is what technology. That is what the Red Cross is aiming for with our new program funded by CARSID, the United States government through the embassy. It aims in standardizing the way we do things. For instance, assessments. When Hurricane Earl, we went out with the use of the ODK, the Open Data Kit. We did our assessments on the phone. It actually cut our time out by more than half.
Yeah, it was like real-time data.
Real-time data, and it allowed us to get back to the people faster. So we're trying to introduce this to the use of this to other stakeholders, other partners, including NEMO. We also have just learned last year, was it last year or year before, about the missing maps.
Last year.
The missing maps, which uses the ODK, but it is
Missing maps.
He can tell you a little more about the missing maps. He did the full training.
Yeah.
It's an open website, and it uses satellite imagery and ground truthing, because satellite imagery only shows the roof, the top. You have to go on the ground. But then once you start to map unmapped areas, and it's an informal, it's not GIS mapping, so it's not legal, but it gives you all information. Like we go out there and we see the roofs, and we go into a neighborhood, see a group of volunteers, and we say, okay, this is a wooden 2-story house, this one is concrete floor, wooden, so many people live in there, it has a water tank. We start, and then we scan it and put it back on the website, so somebody else in Australia
can be able to access it. So it's really getting the clearest picture that you can as in the assessment period. So you're working with other entities to pass on
our
that
aim
skill.
is to try and introduce these things, the use of this, so that we can be standard when we go out there to do our assessments.
Another interesting development that I found is the move to providing money to people for assistance instead of what we are traditionally used to, which is clothing and canned food and whatnot.
The cash transfer program.
Yes.
That's the way the Red Cross internationally, globally is going. We prefer that because it allows the persons that are affected to preserve their dignity and to choose where their need is. We can always come with the obvious. Okay, you need a tarp because your roof gone. You need what all we give out, jerry cans, because you need clean water and you need something to carry it in. You need a hygiene kit and things. And they still get those things if the need is there. However, giving them cash is saying, take control of what you need. You put this where you most need it. It could be education. It could be medical. It could be anything that
tank if
probably the disaster stole from them.
Example from Earl, right here at home. Remember, Earl was in early August, the 3rd of August. But a lot of people were saving up their back to school money already.
Yes.
When Earl came, they realized, well, I have to fix this or that. So they took their back to school money and spent it on fixing their homes back. Now, here comes along the Red Cross and says, okay, guess what? We'll give you cash. You know how many people were so happy? Now I can send my kids back to school.
You know, and we check back with them, and we talk with them and ask them what did they spend the money on, and it's really and truly the majority of them spent it on a priority. Of course, you'll have some people that misuse it and abuse it, but we can't monitor all that.
But I like the simple view of the dignity of it, rather than receiving, maybe you give me a mattress and what I really need is a butane tank to start to cook and make more money.
Exactly.
Because I'm okay with sleeping on the floor in the meantime. And so my priority, or how I view my priority, is definitely different from everyone else.
Exactly.
I've always found that to be an interesting model. But another key element is talking about volunteerism. And I really want to know from you, because the Red Cross is, you said it started volunteerism. I think if anybody knows how small your staff is and the amount of work that you just said you do, you rely on volunteers.
Yes, we do.
But how are we doing in Belize? Are people still within, do they still have the spirit of wanting to volunteer?
Marlene, they have it, and they want to, but if they can afford to, that's the problem. And that is why, like World Red Cross Day is where we use this day, and some people run it a whole week, some people do it for a month. We started really from the agricultural show. We had a booth out there, and we really highlight the work of the volunteers, because without our volunteers, we can't even exist, honestly. The secretariat staff is a little handful, and most of them are project bound, and we cannot be out there doing everything. But every branch, we have a branch in every district, in every administrative district, 2 in Cayon, 2 in Belize with San Pedro, and our office. And the volunteers are the ones who we depend on. They are our hands and our feet. So we have to really raise them up on a day like this. We try to do it as much as we could during the year. We have a volunteer forum every year where we invite volunteers from all the districts. Unfortunately, we can't have all, but we do give them awards for their good work. We raise them up, and volunteerism is getting tighter and tighter, smaller and smaller. People have to work.
Is it just in Belize? Is it
No,
global?
it's countrywide. It's globally. Everywhere you go, you hear the same complaint. So we're trying to look for a number of innovative ways to engage them.
There's some competing organizations, not competing, but there's some parallel organizations like Lions Club and the Rotaract, who do some of the same So if I'm volunteering for these organizations, it's more difficult for me to volunteer for Red Cross. But what I wanted to ask was, we're on the heels of the hurricane season. We've seen recently where a tsunami, good gosh, I would never think that word would come up here. I thought that was something for
foreign.
Yes, for the Pacific. And the possibility of us having a major disaster this year increases, just to me, mathematically, Have there been additional? I know I'm not calling it on us.
No, but it is predicted that the season will be as busy as last year, and there will be at least 3 major hurricanes.
So, is there any additional push or any additional plans that the Red Cross is a part of to try to prepare for the worst case scenario? We're praying for the best, but is there anything that we're doing to prepare for the worst additionally?
It's awareness. It's a community that has to prepare. We're always on standby, and we have our international organization that supports us. And Padru down in Panama has all the
That's
containers.
a Pan American Disaster Response Unit.
The containers are stocked and ready to move. They can be here in 2 to 4 days if something happens. In fact, the other day I was boasting that there's enough packed in containers to put a tent seated for 25,000 people.
Wow.
That can be here here and set up within 4 days.
Yeah.
So, but
it's
you asked
planning.
it's we here that need to be aware and be ready.
But you asked about the planning, and yes, we are doing something extra. Again, through our CARSI funding, we are talking with government ministries and NEMO about bringing our international federation to Belize, persons from the international federation to Belize, to sensitize us all about international disaster relief or response law.
Wow.
It is something that we take for granted that we have coordination packed down tight. What if we get a Barbuda, the place name? Barbuda or a Dominica situation in Belize?
Yeah. Where we're white
How
out.
are we really prepared? Are we really prepared to coordinate all those international bodies that will be storming into Belize? So yes, we are doing a little more.
So
We are
logistic
hoping to get together with the government, with NEMO, bringing in the Federation to give us a better sensitization of how IDRL, International Disaster Response Law, works, so that we can be better coordinated for the event of a big crisis.
That's good news about bad news.
Nice way to put it.
But Fred, we know that you never miss the opportunity, and I don't want you to lose it today either, to talk about disaster preparedness and planning with your family. And I have to say, the last time you were on the show talking about family planning for disasters, you spoke of even planning in the event of a tsunami, and the very night we had the tsunami warning.
Yes.
I'm a bit worried.
Yes.
So,
You know where I ended up? Where did I tell you I was going to end up?
where you would end up if what?
If I had a tsunami.
Oh, you had a meeting point already designated?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we're at Myron Jones.
Yeah, yeah,
I was there.
yeah.
Well, I went to Civic first because it's closer because we were walking
Yeah.
from home. But when we got there, the place was closed. I called Mr. Usher and he said,
Yeah.
well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
So I don't have time.
But the very morning, we said, let's plan for all earthquake,
That was
tsunami. If a tsunami comes, have a meeting point. Know you have to go high. The very morning show and the night there was a...
Yes,
So-
that flashed through my mind immediately when my phone started to ring. Where do we go? What do we do, you know?
So yes, so I want to say thank you for that, because I knew what I had to do. Didn't really cut down my panic, but it did make me know what I had to do and what to expect. But let's talk about the importance of talking with your family about planning for a disaster, whether one that happens immediately like a tsunami or earthquake, or one that we have a little bit more time like a hurricane.
Everyone in the family can do something. And especially the younger ones. If they don't have anything to do, they will be panicking and getting in your way. So it's important to give them something to do from beforehand and have them practice it, so when the time comes, they're not going,
Yeah.
but rather they start to move. You take care of this, you make sure all the windows locked down, you pick up that bag, you grab the 2 water bottles, whatever. But anything, it's not just a family, your staff at work, your co-workers, people in your neighborhood. Everybody needs to know what you're going to... Basketball or football or anything, the team practices, how much practice they put before they go out and play a game. We do it in our daily lives. We practice what we do. So it's important for something as critical as this, that could be the difference between life and death. Or,
For sure.
you know, that definitely is something everyone should put as a priority to practice. What are you going to do if this happens? What are you going to do if that happens? As a group.
Somebody was saying, you know, that's depressing. Why would I already have to meet bills, pay bills, deal with all the regular problems that I know will actually happen? And then you want me to go and plan for something which might not happen, and depresses me thinking about it happening and stresses me out thinking about it. Why would I do that?
Look at the flip side.
And what if I can't afford it too?
But you find the money when the hurricane comes, when the hurricane is threatening to come.
Well, people help me. I go to my neighbor, and you know, Red Cross helps me. I don't have to worry about that. Red Cross is already
All you
doing
have
it.
to do is think about the last time. And believe me, you will plan, and you will put that time aside to
Yeah.
do it.
Make it
Because
fun.
just the last time that you were not prepared, and you had to look at Earl with
Yes.
with the storm surge by Vista del Mar and
Yeah.
Yeah, Earth.
okay, look at that. If you were prepared, you would not have been in your house at that time.
Yeah. Or
Because there's
calling
always a
BDS.
possibility that a hurricane could come with a storm surge. I mean,
Yeah.
because now we know that we are susceptible to tsunamis, earthquakes, you know? So be prepared. Knowledge will not be taken away from you. But you know, our theme, I must say, our theme for World Red Cross Day is everywhere for everyone.
What's that mean?
We leave no one behind. We go first of all for the most needy. You know how we work in response to a hurricane? We assess the whole area. Then we look according to the criteria set. We have to set a criteria at the time, depending on the context and the situation. We look at the most affected, and we serve them first. Of course, everything depends on the money, the items, the support that you can bring physically. So if we still can afford to do more, then we look at those that have been affected, maybe not as bad as the ones we served first. Yeah. And that is how we go. But we really leave no one behind. And this year we are kind of stepping up our game a little and being a little more innovative. And we are using the most common emoji, a smile. And we are calling people to action. We have a Facebook page. We have an email address. We have a telephone number. Call us, write us, tell us how the Belize Red Cross in our situation has served you and put a smile on your face. You've been trained. That makes me smile. You've been assisted in maybe a fire or hurricane. That puts a smile on your face. Whatever. Maybe you were accepted as a volunteer and you did your first little deployment. Tell us. We'd like to know how the Red Cross put a smile on your face. So that's our innovation this time.
Nice. So that is an online competition. People can do that on your Facebook.
On our Facebook, yeah.
Excellent way to participate. Once again, we have to say Happy World Red Cross Day to you and the rest of your team and your team of volunteers. And I know you're always looking for volunteers, so if they want to provide some extra time or some expertise in an area, they just contact you, right?
Yeah, contact us there. I also would like to make mention of the sad part of volunteerism, especially in the conflict areas like Yemen, Syria. So we have lost quite a few of our own volunteers and staff.
Yeah.
The International Committee of the Red Cross especially, we have lost. Right now there's a girl that has been abducted in, where is that again? That just came out. In where?
Mogadishu.
And they have bombed Red Cross vans.
Wow. Yeah.
They have killed, in crossfire and things. So we're not safe everywhere.
Yeah.
Although the Red Cross in itself is a symbol of protection, it's a protected emblem. People still don't understand.
Yeah. But Lily, we're not far removed. One of the narratives, we have a referendum come next year, April. And one of the possibilities that has been spoken about, not as necessarily an immediate possibility, is that there could be some military conflict or conflict between ourselves and our neighbor Guatemala.
Yeah.
The Red Cross would have to be here, and we would see some of the same issues that people in Yemen or all these places would face. So preparedness doesn't only go for natural disasters, but where we are politically, the geopolitical reality of Belize right now international is one that...
And the arm of the Red Cross is the International Committee of Red Cross, the ICRC. They are the ones who work in conflict situations.
Well, I think one of the things that we can close off with is definitely talking about being prepared in the event of any disaster or any particular challenge that we may see in the communities. And we know that the Red Cross is there and you continue to do great work. So once again, remember to support Red Cross, and whether it's through volunteering or providing whatever they need in kind or financial support, especially in disaster response. We want to say thank you for coming in, and once again, Happy World Red Cross Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it's time to teach the dads how to cook up something special with the kids for Mother's Day.